And we are back. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Laggin. This is Grounded. I'm on a playtest server right now, checking out the new update. This is called the Home Stretch Update. It should be live for everybody in early August, like the first week or second week in August. Typically 2 weeks after it's in these playtest servers, it goes live. So let's check out all the new stuff that's going to be coming with the new update. You may have already noticed this guy floating around. That's my pet Gnat. Yeah, but you could pet him and love him and build him a little pet house and everything, just like the other pets. However, he takes a different type of food. You need to take spoiled meat over to a research station and research it, and then you will get the recipe for spoiled meat slurry. You can then grab the spoiled meat slurry once you've made it, throw it down on the ground like so, out in the wild where you see some gnats flying around, and they'll all swoop down and start eating it, and one of them will eventually have a heart on him, and that's when you know that he's yours. Hey, pet you. See, I can pet him. They'll actually follow you home, and you can build a little pet house for them, deposit them in the pet house, and then they should stay in your area, but this one seems to want to follow me around for some reason. And that's the pet gnats. Now, one of the other things that they added, I think is going to be really helpful for a lot of people. Depending upon when you started playing Grounded, you may have custom game options, and you may not. So for those of us who started a long time ago, there were no custom game settings, and then they added it. But if you had a save file from before they added it, you could still not use the custom game settings without starting a whole new game. And a lot of people don't want to do that after they've put so much time and effort into their bases. Well, now you can go to the game settings, and up above where your difficulty is, there will be a button saying convert to custom game. Click that, and you can now toggle all of these yellow switches to make your game harder or easier or however you prefer to play it. But this is the big one right here, faction reactivity. If you toggle this off, which I have it off now, you will have no more base raids. That means all the hours you spent building your base will not be ruined by some bugs coming and swarming and tearing everything apart. Now, some people find it fun and want to build their bases with defenses. As you can see here, mine's kind of defensed up. Other people want to build bases that are purely aesthetic and look amazing and don't want to get hassled by bug raids. So if you ask me, that's potentially the biggest thing they've done in this update. Don't get too disappointed. This is kind of an underwhelming update, but they did warn us. They said, curb your expectations. This one's going to be a very small one. We got to change to the glue factory. Now, this is where you make your repair glue, so you can repair some of your armor and weapons that are, I believe, over level 5. And it functions the exact same way. It just looks completely different. And this is a much cooler look, if you ask me. And over here is the cookery. This is kind of a big one if you're a fan of cooking. I only use cooking recipes when I'm fighting the Broodmother or any future bosses. I guess I'll be using the cooking recipes as well. But they made it to where you have to cook your recipes in here instead of the oven, because the oven takes a little longer to get, and there's some pretty good buffs you can get with cooking. So this is available right after you get Burgle working inside of the Oak Lab, right at the beginning of the game. You can then purchase this for 1,000 raw science. You'll get the recipe for it, and you can craft it in your house, and this is where you cook all your food recipes that give you some pretty nice buffs. There's been some changes to animation as far as third person goes, so I'm not going to notice these because I always play in first person, but one thing I did notice, it's really cool with the spicy Coltana, if you swing it, look at that, it shoots off like smoke and embers now. Don't believe it did that before, and you can even see that in first person. So if you're a first person player, you don't get to miss out on that. It would be really cool if they did that with the salty and the fresh weapons as well. I still think these bird traps need a good buff to them, so they'll do some more damage to insects, but one of the things that was really not that good about them before is you had to use the spicy arrows to set them off. Now, if you don't feel like carrying around specialty arrows to go with all your specialty weapons of the 700 things you have to collect in this game and no backpack space, you could just throw your spicy Coltana at it and it will set it off. So yeah, that's a little improvement if you like those things. I don't ever use them, so I probably am not going to be benefiting from that change. Check it out. Burgle moves around now. Put your cares away and have an exponentially great day. And apparently he sings now. Yeah, he got his little legs working. So yeah, you can catch Burgle running around the shop, just rolling around and singing, having a good time. While we're slowly ziplining over to the haze, a good chance to talk about the biggest change in this update is the way that you upgrade your armor and your weapons. Quartzite and leather scraps and leather plates have been completely removed and will no longer be used to upgrade your weapons and armor. You're looking for specific types of rocks now. They're called fashion nuggets, that's for your armor, and tough nuggets, which will be for your weapons. So far, I've been finding these in areas that used to have quartz. So that's why we're gonna head over here, and I'll see if I can show you some. Then I'll show you how we use them to upgrade our stuff. So these are fashion nuggets. They're just laying on the ground like little pebblets. They look a little different, and it says fashion nuggets. And that's what you'll be using to upgrade your armor. They also come in these big boulder forms too, so keep an eye out for those. This is stone of toughness, and this is what you'll use for your weapons. They look kind of like quartz, or exactly like quartz. All this stuff is subject to change. These might just be placeholders for how they look, and they might look totally different when the update goes live. Okay, now that we're back home with some tough nuggets and some fashion nuggets, I can show you how the upgrades work. So I'm just gonna do an armor upgrade, and this will use the fashion nuggets that we found. It only takes 1 to go to level 1, 2 to go to level 2, 3 to go to level 3, 4 to go to level 4, and then 5 to get to level 5. Now you're gonna need something called a cool fashion nugget, which I'm pretty sure you could find out in the backyard, but I did not. I was able to purchase the recipe from the science shop for cool fashion nuggets and cool tough nuggets, so I can actually craft them here using bug rubber, or the cool tough nuggets take spider fangs to craft. So I went ahead and crafted some, and as you can see, it only takes 2 to get to level 6, and it only takes 4 to get to level 7. So already this is a major improvement on the grind. It doesn't take nearly as much resources to upgrade your armor. Now, when you want to get to level 8, or level 9, which is the max you can get to level 9, you're gonna need something called rad fashion nuggets, and there's also rad tough nuggets for the weapons. Unfortunately, they have stated that they are not putting out the rad nuggets until the final version of the game, which is September the 27th. So what you can do before this update goes live, use the old way of upgrading and get your stuff to a level 8 and level 9. That way you don't have to wait for the final version of the game to fully upgrade the weapons and the armor sets that you use the most. Basically, that is everything in this upcoming update. We will be continuing our playthrough of Grounded come September the 27th, because this small update doesn't provide enough for us really to do anything. And the big update is going to have all the new weapons and armors and biomes and bosses and story, and we can continue our Grounded series then. In the meantime, I am playing Raft and playing other crafting survival games. You can check those out on the channel. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to drop a like on it. And as always, it's been your boys Laggin' 24, and I will see you next time.